Hello and welcome to my channel. Thank you so much for taking the time to tune in today. I'm here. I have finally arrived at the final video in my podcast series, looking at the signs in love, looking at the signs through Venus. Venus, love, all of the lovers. If you're out there and you have your Venus in Virgo, holla, hello, this is the video for you. This is not for Venus Sun, but yes, a lot of the placements, a lot of the fingalities, a lot of the traits all come from, the archetype of the sign. But when we shift the perspective, we're looking at it through the angle of love, which is what Venus is. The moon is who you really are, your private secret world, and your rising, of course, is the angle that you see the world through. So yes, Venus is important, and that's why I decided to do this series. And it's gone really quick. Hey, remember when I did the first one and it was Venus and Scorpio, which is where I am. So anyway, I have done some other videos on Virgo, the light side, the dark side, the cold hard truth, and now we're just getting into looking and understanding this sign in love. And hello to my friend Violet. I know you've been waiting for this one, so I hope that you like it. Just giving you a bit of a shout out. Also, before I start, my tarot card deck, the Goliath Tarot, is now back in stock. So if you'd like to go ahead and pick up a copy, you can. Also, please come and find me on Instagram. It means a lot to me, the support, and I am working on a new project, which is my second kid's book at the moment, The Tale of the Sad Mermaid. Very Virgo energy in that book, actually. I will say when I start off with this podcast, when it comes to Virgo in general, these guys leave a very lasting impression on you. You never get over them. The Virgos make a mark on your soul. They really do. A dark Virgo is hell to deal with. They'll be like medical scientists, anything to do with the measurement of something. Very logical, very practical, much like our good old mate, the bull, the Taurus, and of course the Capricorn, power corns. But yeah, it's something that you won't forget. And I really do believe that when Virgos get over their own bullshit, the Virgo can actually be a really amazing lover. They have a lot to offer, and they are a lot like a fine wine as they age. They've got a lot of things to get on with. They've got a lot of things to do. And this is a more serious, hardworking sign. So first off the bat, this sign is in my opinion, beside Capricorn, they are the hardest working of all of the signs. These guys are about servitude, they are about service, and they're about reality. This sign is reality based. They're either going to be the gurus that have self-help programs trying to fix everyone and help everyone or try and heal themselves, or they're going to completely be disinterested in the spirituality, the occult, and they'll kind of go through life very practical, very cold. Pre-warning, if you have a Virgo person in your life, male Virgo pertaining, they display narcissistic traits. You need to get away from that Virgo as soon as you can. You are in danger. Okay, this sign on the Machiavellian scale can be very much the serial killer. They will probably wear you down, break you down, or morph you into some kind of doll that they'll see as their own idolized version of perfection. Very, very dark placements. If I see, say, for example, a Virgo sun with a Scorpios kind of in their placements in the moon or the rising, or a Scorpio in Venus with a sun placement in Virgo, it could be very scary. So because whatever Virgo is projected into, it's amplified. It's much like their reverse, which is the Pisces. Whatever Pisces goes into, they amplify that. So I hope that makes sense. By the way, I know I'm going to cover a lot of dot points in this podcast, so please just pause when you need to. The worst placement ever for this sign is their opposite, Pisces. It will not work. We've got a very tightly knit and intensely focused, logical, practical sign with the Pisces. Sorry, with the Virgos, and then the Pisces is just absolutely all over the place. So it will not work. I've never seen it work. The only way it would work is if there was some earth to try and balance that out in their chart. But just for the record, I've never seen opposites not work more than the Pisces and the Virgo. If you're already in a relationship with someone and you're a Pisces and they're a Virgo, it's going to be a real, it's going to be a real fucking difficult roller coaster. So that being said, this sign is very focused on their goals, and they kind of grow up with this mindset of I'm not enough. I need to work hard. A lot of them are born in chaos. A lot of them are trying to recreate stability in their adult life by controlling everything around them. It can be a real problem when the Virgo doesn't know that, because they see it as I'm loving you, I'm giving you tough love, I'm telling you that you're not special. But to their family and friends, they see it as pressure that they put on other people to be something that they simply are not. And if Virgo, if you're listening to me right now, or if you're out there listening to me right now, perhaps you're a Gemini and you understand this, and I know you probably already do if you're a really smart Gemini. My advice is, if I meet a loser, they're a loser. If you're a loser and you haven't figured out the game of life and you won't get in the game of life and you're struggling and it's always someone else's fault, I will not even engage with you. I just fuck you off. I won't engage. I disconnect. I don't associate, because how someone presents themselves to me is already who they are. I'm not interested in changing who someone else is to fit my version of the narrative that I need them to be. I have radical acceptance, and understanding radical acceptance, and I've done videos on this before, is accept someone as they are. And if it isn't a match, which it probably won't be a match, that's okay. Let them go and look for someone that can be a match. Nothing will hurt the Virgo more than picking a loser and trying to restore them, build them up, fix them, put them back together again. I know it's hard to say this, but in nature, like I'm a naturalist. I'm into, obviously the natural world. When an animal falls out of a nest, it's already over. This is the brutality of life and the reality of life. A lot of the suffering that comes to Virgo is because they can't accept reality. So, and this sign is about reality acceptance. So it's interesting. It's an interesting one. One of the first things I would say in terms of dating them, don't feed a Virgo a bunch of sweet nothings. They don't want a fucking bunch of pillow talk. These guys are very focused on action, and they're very focused on you need to be willing to put in the effort to sustain a relationship long term. What a Virgo doesn't want secretly is for them to become the container of you. Virgos want to be of service to others. That's their love language. And they want you to contain them by making them feel safe. So plot twist, go back, re-listen to that again. So Virgos don't tend to be domineering like doms. They're more kind of like Bella Swan, or like that chick from 50 Shades of Grey. They would rather be the sub that gets off on being the source of the pleasure to the dom, or basically being used and abused. A lot of Virgos get in very abusive relationships. A lot of Virgos have been strippers sex workers. They've worked in some kind of industry that is all about their own sense of perfection or illusion, or should I say delusion. A lot of them are on fans only. It's just how they are. A lot of them are personal trainers. They're very focused on controlling the projection of how others see them, and they need to be seen as a siren, a sex kitten, or a gym god. All right, this is the sign that will push themselves to extreme levels to obtain or to get closer to this kind of carrot that they're chasing, which, by the way, they never get, because once they get that goal, there's always another goal. Once they get that goal weight, there's always another goal weight to get to. I talked about Virgo dark side. A lot of Virgo women and Virgo men have all suffered from some level of eating disorder, whatever, on whatever level that might be. There's a lot of self-hate with the Virgo. So first of all, if you meet a Virgo and they're in their self-hate and they're in the gym 12 times a day, that is unsustainable. Bye. Off you go. You get away from that. It's not going to work. The biggest relationship that Virgos have isn't going to be with others. It's always going to be their self-focus. So a selfish Virgo is a real problem, because they'll be so self-focused and tightly knit on their work that they won't be present with their kids. And you see, the Virgo would see that as, I'm working so hard to provide for you to have this stuff, but not understanding at the same time what the kid really needs is the Virgo parent to be fucking present with them. So Virgos miss out on a lot of stuff that goes on with their own kids because they're too busy pursuing excellence for the family, not understanding that they need to be with the kid. All right, with the family is what really matters. Kids don't give a shit about all the money. Okay, you could live in a caravan with a kid and they're playing in the dirt. They just love you. They just want to be around you because they love you. So if you're listening and you're a Virgo parent, I'm just going to kind of scold you right now. Virgos have excellent communication skills. So they're very real. Keep it real. Don't be cocky with the Virgo. They don't like cocky. You've got to be humble. Bow your head. Be respectful. Pay respects to your elders. Pay respects to other people and their hard work. I like a Virgo, and I would actively seek to pursue a relationship with some kinds of Virgos myself, because the two of us would probably team up and we'd try and build a business together, or we would have a really strong unit where we work well together. We play off each other's energy really well. So discipline, discipline, discipline. Virgos like myself, we know that it's not enough just to have talent. It's not enough to be able to draw really well or paint really well. If you don't show up every single day and put in that effort and work to build your skill set, nothing's going to happen. All right. So this whole thing, if you show up and you're not prepared, you're fucked. Virgos are like that. They're also like that in dating. So a lot of them, they have an incredible amount of time and energy that they put in towards, or they make the time and energy that goes into their presentation. So the first key I'm going to say, other than what I've already said, and I know I'm trying to get really, I know this might sound heavy, but I'm just being really real with you. Like I try to be from my heart. You need to come across as kind of like perfect. You need to come across like you are put together, well put together. You know who you are. You know what you're doing. You've got excellent verbal communication. Virgos have no time for poor hygiene and no time for poor communication. If your communication is weak, if you can't verbalize what you're trying to like say in your head, Virgos are so disinterested, they're going to be out the door. All right, think Mercury, like Gemini, all right? Once they're disappointed with you and they realize that this isn't going to work, the Virgo is going to lose interest. So you keep it lively and show them that you're willing to communicate. Communication is key for this sign, all right? They are very generous. Okay, this sign has a very generous side to them. They will help you. If it's a Virgo parent and they've down to their last $20 and their kid needs or really wants that toy or to go see that movie or to go do something, the Virgo will sacrifice that money and give it to their kid because they do have that side to them at that service. A lot of this, the word service, I serve, comes up a lot around the Virgo. And this can be exploited in bad relationships too. So Virgos need equity and equality. Equality creates equity for the Virgo in sustainability for a relationship. And this sign is about resourcefulness. They are very, very resourceful. So if you gave them, like, I knew a Virgo woman, she had quite a few kids, and her husband had fucked off. Not uncommon for a Virgo, by the way. Single mothers, a lot of single mothers are Virgos, I've noticed. They might have in the cupboard like a bag of lentils and a bag of flour and just like staples and things, but they will be able to make something wonderful out of nothing. You know, they're very, very good like that. They can make $1 stretch, which is a really good thing. A lot of Virgos are either really about complaining about their problems and doing nothing about it. A dark-sided Virgo looks at the world as it's the world's fault that everything's fucked, that I'm fucked. A light-sided Virgo that takes accountability and understands, yeah, the world might be fucked, but I have to get on with my life. There's a very big difference, and I want to make it clear in this podcast that you go through trauma in your life, and then the way that you look at it is everything like this, all these horrible things happen to me, I'm a victim. And that's the way they look at life. Or there's a way of looking at life, Virgo, where it's like, yeah, all these horrible things happen to me, and now what? See, there's a big difference between those two ways of being, okay? Because life has to go on. No matter what you go through, Virgo, if you're listening, you've got to keep going. So Virgos are great lovers, and I am compatible with Virgo people. There is a down-to-earthness to them, which I really like. And because of that realness, I feel that it can really elevate other people. So Virgo is so attractive when they are integrated in the mind. All right? They really are. They like to build things through, see things through. They want to grow and they want to learn. Virgos want to uplift in their relationships. They want this idolized version of a perfect world in their head. And that's what Virgo's psychology is driven by. It's driven by the idolized version of themselves, which they will always chase. A really dark Virgo example that is a really unhealthy Virgo would be this really crazy chick that I remember watching on a show called The Hills. Her name was Heidi Montag, and she married this total asshole, and he was a Leo, and his name was Spencer Pratt. And she went and had all of this plastic surgery, and it was so incredibly invasive that it nearly killed her, just so she could look like the Barbie version of herself that she'd always wanted. Virgos, a very weak or dark-sided Virgo, will change themselves to fit the narrative of other people. When Virgo realizes that doesn't work, that you've got to be you and you've got to only, I'm not changing for anyone but you, that's when the real work can begin. Okay, so it's just how they are. And so learning to let yourself be yourself and be comfortable with the discomfort inside of yourself, that's the best Virgo that you'll get. So yeah, words are not really, doesn't mean anything to a Virgo. You could tell them that you love them, but they don't really believe it. They need you to show it, and you need to show up and be of service to them as well. So if you can fix things around the house, if you're good with saving money, if you've got like the ability to fix like pipes that have broken, that will make the Virgo love you. Like they like that. You've got to be of use to them. Okay. This is a hyper independent sign. So most of the time, Virgo, in its own sense of self-preservation, they don't really need other people. If they have a partnership, it's because they really love you and want to work with you on something. But these types of people, when it comes to relationships, a lot of them really are just better off alone, because an add-on, like a relationship to a Virgo, is just a complementary add-on. Okay, so I hope that makes sense. But they're very, very hardworking. They'll pull double shifts to the point of exhaustion just so they can keep the house. The dark side of the Virgo is like keeping up with the Joneses, trying to wallow in their own sense of self-perfection. A lot of gay men are Virgos. They have a lot of extreme mental health problems, particularly in their 20s and 30s, where they're kind of, they hate aging, they hate being imperfect, and they have to sustain something that sometimes isn't even physically obtainable. And they're hypersensitive if you tell them that they can't have it, or you bring out a flaw to them. It could send them into like some kind of critical existential crisis. So yeah, it's really not good. By the way, a lot of Virgo men and Gemini men are all gay and bisexual. They have a very fluid sexual attraction. They idolize perfection within themselves, and when they see perfection projected in a man, they will get turned on by that, whether they admit it or not. It's just kind of how they're hardwired in the brain. So sadly, I can attest that a lot of Virgo men are closeted, and a lot of them will go to like massage parlors for like a rub and tug, or they will hire male escorts. It's just in their nature. They have a very kinky side to them. Just a lot of people see Virgo or Libra as very pristine and clean, but I can tell you a lot of these Virgos have a very dirty, dark side to them. All right. So do not think that the Virgo is a virgin. Okay, it's far beyond that. All right, they are not. Doesn't exist. They have a light-sided Virgo has a lot of standards and principles that need to be obtained. So very decent behavior is needed, and they will not bring you to meet their family unless they think that you're the one. Now, much like Scorpio, when a Virgo sees you, or Venus in Virgo sees you as the one, you're the one. They really tightly focus on you, to the point where sometimes Virgo gives up their own sense of self to be with another person, and they resent themselves for it. All right, so equality is really what's needed, which is the next sign after Virgo anyway, which is the Libra, which is balancing. So sometimes a lot of Virgos grow up and they feel like the world is fucked and it doesn't really give a fuck about them too much. So they try to make themselves useful when a Virgo doesn't feel like they're the superhero or they're useful, and they can't take care of other people because of that natural kind of caregiving energy. They get really depressed. But they want to learn about you. Really learn about you. There's like teacher-student relationship, dom-sub relationship, enlightenment relationships that these guys like to forge with other people. And they value information and learning. A lot of Virgos are teachers. They like to learn about the world. And they want to learn about all the things about you that you do as well. So it could be like putting on your socks in the morning, brushing your teeth, how you do little things around the house. They notice every little detail about you. All of your imperfections and all of your mistakes, the Virgo knows already. And that's what makes them feel safe, by understanding your own shortcomings. And so that's in terms of the body part and the chakras of the body, Virgo is the colon. It's the thing that we reject or eject from the body that we don't need. So a lot of the angles of a Virgo is looking at what we don't need, and focusing on removing bad parts of ourselves or bad decision-making imperfections within ourselves. That's what the Virgo is trying to destroy or get rid of. So a lot of the Virgos can be very pessimistic sometimes, and it's always seeing, the glass is half empty. And this is a massive turn off to other people. And that's why a lot of people remove themselves from Virgos, because they find them to be so negative and nitpicky. And they can be a saboteur in other people's relationships. Virgos will piss in someone's ear and try and get them to see things from an angle that the Virgo sees. So they can be quite nasty and vicious in that way. Life for a Virgo, like a Capricorn, it doesn't really come easy for them. So things that will go wrong probably will. And that's just how it tends to be, unfortunately. They're very big on aesthetic. So they need to, like world building, they need aesthetic, lots of candles, lots of romance, very tightly knit and intensely focused space. So when they come to your house, make sure it's fucking clean. Make sure the toilet's clean. Make sure your clothes are clean. Make sure that you are organized. Make sure that you project a level of control. A lot of Virgos end up in the army, or they have worked in a military type environment. This whole kind of break you down and rebuild you thing is a theme that comes up with this sign. And that structure and order makes them feel safe. And that's how you get them, by making them feel grounded. The Virgo, a tip, like the biggest tip I could give you if you're trying to seduce a Virgo or make them love you or get them to fall for you, is show your vulnerability and show them the real you. Okay, not the fake version, not the version that you think best foot forward version. Be real. Okay, a real Virgo is looking for a real connection. So the moment that you come across as ungrounded or unstable within yourself, that will collide with their version of what's workable with you, and then they'll get rid of you. All right, so contain them, make them feel safe. Virgo is more of a feminine energy in itself. It needs to feel contained by the masculine. Virgo is a receptive energy, like the Pisces. In a lot of ways, they need strong people that are capable, because Virgo wants to be that for you. Beyonce is a Virgo, and that song, Put a Ring on It. If you like it and you want to be with me, put a fucking ring on it. Make the commitment. Do the time. Prove that you want to be with me. Show me that you want to be with me. There is a material realm to this sign. So money does make them feel safe. They need money in the bank to feel secure. So if something goes wrong, they have a backup plan, much like Capricorn. It's just how they are hardwired. So yeah, when the Virgo will relax when they feel that you're capable. If the Virgo can't relax, it's because that basic human nature within them isn't being met in their expectation of you making them feel like they don't want to feel worried, like that everything's going to go wrong. They already worry enough. So yeah, Venus in Virgo, like I mentioned, they can grow up in really kind of unstable and chaotic environments. So that's where a lot of their deep-seated need for control comes from. And it's just kind of like how they've been conditioned. So if you can meet their needs and you can show them that you're already stable, that you've got that financial security, that will make them like feel like, okay, let's explore this. Let's go somewhere with this. They do like routines. Virgos do. They need structure. So routines and discipline are very important. You're going to have to fit into their life to do that. So you're going to have to don't enforce yourself on a Virgo. Okay. They don't like that. They don't. You have to give them enough space to continue their routine and, be able to communicate and be practical, but not overbearing. They don't like being like overbeared too much. Don't bring up their failures if things didn't work out for them for something that they worked really hard on. They know their failures. Virgos know that they're fat. Virgos know that they are not a 10. You don't need to tell a Virgo what they're short in. Okay, they are already beating themselves up enough over that. It's a lot of negative self-talk that goes on with a Virgo, and a lot of the time when Virgo is in a relationship or is coming into a connection with someone, the Virgos can sabotage the connection by being too logical and practical and not letting the love is and emotions are not logical, Virgo. So let other people, when they're interested in you, be open to that, be receptive to that, okay? Like creativity is not logical either. Stop letting your expectations of another person and your high standards that you have to get met get in the way of building a real loving, caring relationship with someone else. All right. So I hope that makes sense. I know I'm covering a lot in this video, in this podcast, but yeah. Virgos have a lot of anxiety anyway. They're very nervous people. So creating a level of safety within them will create a sense of peacefulness for them. And that's when they fully trust and let go. And a Virgo that really lets go and is able to like swing in a hammock and isn't really precious about everything, they will give you the world. They're very thoughtful as well. This is a very thoughtful sign. They will check in on you and, message you on Facebook or text message like, hey, how you doing? Just checking in with you. They're very good with birthdays, remembering things. They've got a great memory. They work really hard in relationships. They work hard. So if you're goal focused and they're goal focused, it's going to be a perfect match. And, just don't make it like a fucking penny pinching relationship where it's like measuring everything that's coming in and out. Like that's not sexy. Okay. That's not intimate, Virgo. So just be yourself. Don't come across too hardcore to them. That, like I said, loyalty is very important to this sign. So if you're like a fuckboy, Virgo is not interested in fuckboys. If you're just really self-serving, they're not, like a Leo wouldn't really work well with a Virgo very much, I don't think. Don't fuck on the first date with a Virgo. Build up that time and energy, build up a connection to sustain a long-term, long-lasting relationship with them. You have to build a world within the mind. That's where the sign gets wet. That's where their dick gets hard, okay, in the mind, not anywhere else. So give them a purpose, enlist their talent, acknowledge their knowledge, and let them be of assistance to you. And that is how you're going to let them in, is that you've made space at your table for them to sit and they bring value, and then you bring value to them, and that's just perfect. Okay, that's what they really want. They've got a real knack for they've got a real interest in things that other people wouldn't really be interested in, like collecting knickknacks, Christmas tree bubbles. How to organize like their music on Spotify or on iTunes. They've got like playlists that they create If you have like a, if you come into a Virgo's house and you move like a cup a little bit, like 3 inches to the left, they'll know, they notice everything. So yeah, I do find that Virgos are brilliant writers. They're great with poetry, data analysis, and a lot of them are very creative when it comes to like making models, building things with their hands. They're very good with their hands. A lot of Virgos are healers. So massages, remedial massage, they are very sensual. It is an earth sign, so a lot of them are gravitate towards healing, helping people. They're very about devotion and being a lover and being a real wife and being a real husband is about who they are. So don't shock them. Shock value won't work. It's got to be modest and it's got to move slow. Slow, slow, slow. If you move too fast on them, you'll freak them out and they'll run away. It's time to build a relationship. Take your time with them. Be intellectual and have a bit of a dry sense of humor as well. Be witty, all right? Have truth in your humor. They like a paradoxical kind of viewpoint, and they love irony as well. So if you can make your jokes like laced with irony, it's a good one. They'll probably just marry you, if you're able to make them feel that way. Fireworks go off inside them when they feel that you can meet them in the mind. That's where they're at. Be a clean freak. Although a lot of Virgos are dirty and lazy, but they'll have their idiosyncrasies about what they will not put up with. So yeah, this is not an easy sign to deal with. But yeah, it is, presentation is key. So if you put in the effort, generally they will put in the effort as well. And that tends to be, how it works. Don't be overly flamboyant. So have a dress seductively and come across in a way that is proper. All right. So they don't like people that cheat and they don't like people who steal. So you need to have a code of honor to you, and they know that you have to earn what you get. Abby Lee Miller from Dance Mums, I used to watch that show. She is a Virgo, and a lot of them are dance teachers, ballet teachers, refined palette, refined technique, pointing your toes. A lot of them are gymnasts, very, very hard on the body, on the mind, like Bo Derek, the perfect 10, Virgo. Okay, so that's the technique and mastery of self-acceptance. If you come across as that you've mastered yourself to them, they will find that so sexy. All right, so and they can feel contained within you. It's just a part of who they are. So yes, Virgos make great parents. Virgos, I think, of the priestess, the higher self, Aphrodite, I think of Guinevere, that type of thing. That's all Virgo energy. You can build relationships with the Virgos. If Virgos, like I said, they get better as they age when it comes to love. So a lot of them mellow a lot. They accept where they're at in their life, and they begin to accept where others are at as well. And they create a sense of, letting their hair down and not being so uptight. Same with the Sagittarians. They age like a fine wine as well. They're probably very well traveled, very well accomplished, and seek a higher level of learning and a higher level of information. So yeah, a lot of them will have a Gemini around them or have a Sagittarius around them as well, because the Gemini and Sagittarius are all committed to improvement of higher level, deeper level of learning. So I will leave it here. I hope that all of this made sense. This is Virgo in Venus, Venus in Virgo. Please consider subscribing to my channel if you found this insightful. If you have a Virgo person in your life, please leave a comment below. If you're a Virgo, if your Venus is in Virgo, I'd love to hear your thoughts and notes on this sign. Be sensual with them. If you're trying to court them, be seductive, put in the effort and they'll make the effort for you. It's like rose petals on the ground or a little map to a treasure chest or something. They love that. It's all in the mind and of service. The dark side of the Virgo is a sadist, which is not a good thing. Either in taking someone else's power or being such like a rag doll kind of thing. Like I said, a lot of them have explored a lot of harder BDSM kinks. Is very much a Virgo thing. So this was my astrological analysis. I will see you in the next video, and thank you so much for watching my 12 videos on the signs in love. I will be taking a little bit of a break and coming back to do some kind of videos that I feel called to. If I feel like talking about it and I've got something I feel like I want to say, I'll go there. If you've got a suggestion for a video topic for me, please leave it in the comments below, or you can just DM me on Instagram. So I will leave it here. Lots of love. I hope that you've enjoyed the viewpoints. And these Virgos, are they sinners or are they saints? I don't know. I'll leave it up to you. Okay, bye.